Northern Europe in the 13th century was a land of stark contrasts, where opportunity and peril walked hand in hand. The dense forests stretched endlessly, their shadowed depths harboring both game and bandits, while rivers and marshes twisted unpredictably, shaping human settlement and trade. Roads, often mere tracks through mud and stone, were perilous, prone to flooding and ambush. Travel was a gamble. A merchant caravan moving from Lübeck to Hamburg risked storms that could scatter goods, thieves that could seize profits, and disputes with local lords who could levy tolls arbitrarily or even confiscate merchandise. Yet, in this uncertain world, commerce did not merely survive, it thrived. The North and Baltic seas became the lifeblood of Northern Europe, carrying ships laden with grain, timber, furs, salt, and luxury goods between burgeoning towns and across great distances. These seas connected disparate regions, creating a network of trade routes that, despite danger, fostered economic opportunity. Life in the ports was vibrant and chaotic. Lübeck, perched on the edge of the Baltic, hummed with activity. Seagulls wheeled overhead, cries of merchants intermingled with the slap of oars and the creaking of timber-bird ships. Dock workers loaded barrels of salted fish, sacks of grain, and bundles of wool with precision born from experience, knowing that delay could mean spoilage or loss. Across the North Sea, Hamburg's harbors were equally bustling. Traders shouted bids, bargained fiercely over cargo, and coordinated the transport of goods destined for the inland cities of the Holy Roman Empire. Behind the clamor of commerce lay a network of trust and negotiation, unwritten rules that had evolved over decades of trade and risk. Every transaction, every voyage relied upon collective knowledge, shared agreements, and the courage of merchants who understood the fragile balance between profit and disaster. Before the rise of the Hanseatic League, the epicenter of European commerce lay far to the south. Constantinople, the great Byzantine capital, dominated trade as the gateway between Europe and Asia. Its markets overflowed with silk from China, spices from India, precious metals, and fine textiles from the Mediterranean. Venetian and Genoese merchants acted as intermediaries, ferrying goods across the Adriatic and Mediterranean, establishing colonies and outposts, and building naval power to protect their interests. Yet the Byzantine Empire, once unassailable, was weakened by the Crusades, internal strife, and mounting foreign pressure. Venice and Genoa rose to fill the vacuum, monopolizing Mediterranean trade and forging commercial empires that bridged east and west. Northern Europe, however, remained largely peripheral to this Mediterranean world. Its geographical distance, combined with the lingering effects of the Viking Age and the decline of key overland routes like the Varangians to Greek's path, created a vacuum of trade power. Only in the 11th century, with the cessation of Viking raids, did northern maritime commerce begin to recover. Simultaneously, medieval states were forming: the Holy Roman Empire, the kingdoms of Poland, Norway, Denmark, and city-states such as Novgorod began to consolidate power. Populations grew, urban centers expanded, and agricultural productivity increased. This growth stimulated demand for goods from distant lands, from spices and silks to salt and grain, creating an economic impetus that northern European merchants could exploit. Yet travel and trade remained hazardous. Overland, merchants contended with feudal disputes, banditry, and shifting borders that imposed unpredictable tolls and duties. By sea, storms, piracy, and the caprices of nature tested both skill and luck. Individual merchants, guilds, and even cities often found themselves defenseless, forced to navigate a world where the failure of a single voyage could spell financial ruin. The answer lay in collective security, mutual protection, and shared economic interest and necessity that ultimately gave birth to the Hanseatic League. The League was not born from a single act but evolved from a series of agreements among northern German cities. Lübeck, strategically positioned on the Baltic coast, emerged as the unofficial capital, coordinating trade and mediating disputes. Hamburg, on the North Sea, complemented Lübeck's reach. In 1241, these cities formalized an agreement to protect overland routes and their mutual economic interests, a milestone often regarded as the starting point of the Hanseatic League. Gradually, other cities, including Bremen, Wismar, Rostock, and Stralsund, recognized the advantages of cooperation, entering into similar pacts. By 1267, the term Hansa appeared in official documents, symbolizing a shared identity among these trading cities. Each city in the League occupied a strategic position along rivers, coasts, or trade crossroads. Their objectives were pragmatic and focused: to combat piracy, regulate trade practices, monopolize critical goods, and influence both local rulers and foreign powers. The League's organizational model was revolutionary. Unlike monarchies or empires, it had no central ruler, standing army, or permanent capital. Instead, it functioned as a horizontal alliance, binding cities together through agreements and shared interests. Assemblies convened as necessary to address disputes, make policy decisions, or respond to external threats. The first recorded assembly occurred in 1356. Each city, regardless of wealth or size, held one vote, ensuring equality and autonomy. Some cities enjoyed full membership, others, such as Dutch and Swedish towns, held associate status. Merchant guilds within each city formed the foundation of governance, regulating trade, resolving disputes, and enforcing adherence to rules. City statutes, reinforced by league agreements, created predictable frameworks that allowed long-distance commerce to flourish. The economic power of the Hanseatic League was vast. It controlled trade in essential commodities across northern Europe. Salt, vital for preserving food and especially fish, came from mines in Lüneburg. Herring from the North and Baltic seas supplied staple diets in urban centers, while grain from Prussia and Poland fed burgeoning populations in Western Europe. Timber from Baltic forests was indispensable for construction and shipbuilding. Furs from Novgorod provided warmth and status for nobles and merchants alike. Metals, cloth, and wine moved along established routes, exchanged for goods from the West. By overseeing production, storage, transport, and distribution, the League monopolized markets and amassed wealth on a scale unmatched in Northern Europe. Standardized currency exchange and financial practices reduced risk and facilitated smoother operations, reinforcing the League's economic dominance. To maintain influence across distant markets, the League established contour, permanent trading posts with autonomous status in foreign cities. Bergen in Norway became the hub of the cod trade, granting the League near monopoly over dried fish exports throughout Europe. Merchants lived separately from locals, governed by their own laws, with their own churches and schools. London served as the gateway to England, offering preferential taxation, autonomous courts, and warehouses for grain, timber, and furs exchanged for English wool and cloth. Bruges in Flanders connected the League to Western Europe and Mediterranean markets, functioning as both a commercial and financial hub. Novgorod, the easternmost post, facilitated trade in furs, honey, wax, metals, and cloth. These contours were not mere trading stations. They projected diplomatic power, protected merchants, and extended the League's influence into foreign courts. The League's capacity for political action was extraordinary. In the 14th century, conflicts with Denmark arose over trade rights, culminating in the decisive conflict of 1361. In response to violations of their privileges, the League assembled a fleet, expelled Danish forces from Scania, and forced King Valdemar IV to sign the Treaty of Stralsund in 1370. This treaty granted the League control of key fortresses, influence over local elections, and dominance in the herring trade for 15 years. It was a rare instance in medieval Europe where a network of merchants dictated terms to a king, illustrating the League's formidable power. As the 14th and 15th centuries unfolded, the Hanseatic League extended its influence not only economically but culturally and politically. Its network of trading cities became conduits for the spread of the Middle Low German language, which emerged as a lingua franca in Northern Europe. Merchants communicated, wrote contracts, and recorded accounts in this shared tongue, facilitating trade across hundreds of miles of coastline and riverway. The language's adoption enhanced the predictability and stability of long-distance commerce, enabling merchants to navigate foreign legal systems and cultural contexts with confidence. Architecture, too, reflected the League's impact. Brick Gothic style, distinguished by towering red brick town halls, churches, and warehouses, became a visual signature of Hanseatic influence. Lübeck's majestic Rathaus, the soaring steeples of Tallinn, and Vilnius's fortified town halls all bore testament to a shared aesthetic and the economic prosperity it represented. These structures were not merely functional. They symbolized civic pride, communal identity, and the authority of merchants in opposition to feudal or ecclesiastical power. The League's legal traditions, most notably Lubeck law, influenced municipal governance across Northern Europe, shaping the legal frameworks of towns from Riga to Königsberg. It promoted self-government, standardized commercial agreements, and contributed to the unification of legal practices within the Holy Roman Empire and beyond. The League's continued military and diplomatic interventions showcased its ability to protect economic interests. In the 15th century, it confronted the Kalmar Union under King Eric of Pomerania, who opened Baltic trade routes to Dutch ships and imposed duties on foreign merchants. Cities including Hamburg, Lubeck, Wismar, Rostock, and Lüneburg declared war, blockaded ports, and ultimately forced concessions. The League regained privileges, secured territorial influence, and demonstrated that collective urban power could challenge monarchs, manage fleets, and influence regional geopolitics. Its political sophistication allowed it to negotiate treaties, intervene in royal elections, and enforce monopolies across Northern Europe. The League's internal cohesion rested on mutual benefit, trust, and shared rules. Guilds regulated conduct, assemblies resolved disputes, and the collective strength of cities reinforced individual security. Yet this decentralization, once a source of flexibility and resilience, eventually became a vulnerability. As European trade shifted following the Age of Exploration, Atlantic ports such as Lisbon, Seville, Antwerp, and London gained prominence. Northern sea routes became less central to global commerce. At the same time, the rise of centralized nation-states, with rulers eager to assert control over trade and establish national fleets, eroded the League's dominance. Internal disputes, divergent interests, and the pursuit of new opportunities outside the League further weakened cohesion. By the 17th century, its unity had fractured, and the last formal assembly convened in Lubeck in 1669, signaling the end of an extraordinary economic and political institution. Despite its decline, the Hanseatic League's influence endured. Its networks, financial practices, and legal traditions shaped Northern European urban development, trade, and culture. Cities flourished under its guidance, fortified by wealth, legal order, and civic identity. The League's innovations in currency, contracts, and dispute resolution laid the foundations for modern commercial law. Architectural and linguistic legacies, from brick Gothic cityscapes to the spread of Middle Low German, persisted for centuries. Above all, the Hanseatic League demonstrated the extraordinary potential of cooperation among independent actors, showing that collective organization could wield influence exceeding that of kings, armies, and empires. The story of the Hanseatic League is more than a tale of commerce. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, and vision. Merchants navigating dangerous seas, uncertain roads, and political instability forged an alliance that not only controlled trade but reshaped culture, law, and urban life. It is a testament to human ingenuity, revealing how necessity, trust, and cooperation can create enduring institutions capable of shaping history. The League's history offers lessons for modern economies, the power of networks, the importance of regulation and trust, and the enduring impact of commerce on culture, politics, and society. As Northern Europe transformed through the Renaissance and the rise of nation-states, the Hanseatic League faded, but its legacy remained. It had created urban civilization, empowered merchants, and demonstrated the capacity of cooperative economic action to rival the authority of monarchs. Its trading posts had become centers of diplomacy, law, and culture. Its fleets had defended trade and enforced monopolies. Its assemblies had shaped policy and upheld collective interests. The League was not merely a relic, it was a blueprint for transnational cooperation, a precursor to modern corporations, trade unions, and international economic organizations. In imagining the Hanseatic League, one sees more than merchants and markets. One sees a network of human ambition, creativity, and resilience spanning centuries. For centuries, the League maintained economic dominance without a king, without a standing army, and without a permanent capital. Its story stands as a monument to the enduring power of collective human enterprise, illustrating how shared vision, trust, and cooperation can shape history and leave a lasting imprint on the world. The Hanseatic League, for all its rise and decline, remains an unparalleled example of commercial and cultural innovation, a testament to what societies can achieve when unity is forged from necessity, foresight, and collaboration.